Welcome out to It's All Been Done Radio Hour. On this week's podcast, we're going to sit down with cast member Samantha Stark, who plays the top-notch Tangler, and Stacy XXX. Before that, though, let's thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank Mad Lab, our host site in Columbus, Ohio, where we perform our live scripted comedy show every month. You can also support us by going to audibletrial.com/IABD Radio Hour and doing a free 30-day trial. You get a free audiobook of your choosing. They've got 250,000 titles to choose from. Please visit our website, itsallbeendoneradiohour.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes. If you rate and review us as appreciated. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all of that wonderful stuff. Now, here it is, another episode of It's All Been Done Radio Hour. So welcome out to another Meet the Cast episode. I am here with Samantha Stark.
Hi.
Who plays Stacy XXX.
Yep.
Kimberly Benson, the top-notch Tangler.
I wish I was as rich as her.
Me too. Billionaire businesswoman.
Yep.
Can't be breezy, though.
No, not so breezy.
And then you also play a variety of other characters, including Ambassador Nixon on Universe Journey,
Yep.
who we haven't met yet, but is a recurring character. And you played somebody in The Scary Dead, and a couple of Universe Journey characters. First Officer one time, and an alien another.
I had no lines.
So
But it was great. That was one of my favorite ones to play, though.
So yeah, let's talk about that. That was episode 5 of Universe Journey, Weekend at Commander Sanders.
Yes.
So if you were just listening to the podcast, you probably heard Sam Stark's name in the ending credits, but did not hear her voice at all. And if you were wondering why...
It's a disservice to the audience because it's a gorgeous voice. So I can hear me compliment me all day. So Commander Sanders, you were like, well... Who's, and this was very early on, you knew you were going to do this character, and you said, well, we need someone like a Weekend at Bernie's thing to be the dead Sanders, so who can do that? And I just kind of looked around, and I was like, I'll do it, because I know we were all still new and getting to know each other and a little uncomfortable, maybe being goofy around each other. And I was like, I'm comfortable with the physical humor and the comedy stuff. And I was like, well, I'll do it. And I loved playing it. It was so funny.
Well, you brought the sunglasses and everything. Like,
Yep.
you handed up, your body was flopping around every which way. And
you could see me. If only you could see me.
And you and Nick worked out some good physical comedy bits of Kake holding her up.
Gay.
It's still the funniest Universe Journey episode we've done. And one of our most slapstick episodes overall of anything. Which I think when we do those, we don't do them a lot, but they work so well.
They do. And Meow Meow got drunk.
Yeah, that was fun. Copious. Tequila.
Copious amounts. I laughed at that because I forgot it was that episode that he did that. So when I heard it after you released it, I was like, oh, I was so happy.
We will be getting Meow Meow drunk again. Well, you and Shane have the distinctions, I think it's just you two, of being the two cast members that have two main characters.
Yes.
Because he has Rufus and Meow Meow.
Teehee.
And you have, obviously, the top-notch Tangler and Stacy. So, how do you feel superior to the rest of the cast?
You know.
Since you have those...
I really don't. Everyone's wonderful, and everyone. I know you don't. I joke like I do, mainly because I came from radio, and what I learned from that is you need to have an ego because you have to have thick skin. Because there's people out there that are going to say bad things that aren't going to like what you do, and they're going to try to tear you down. And that's the one thing about being in the public eye. When I was more so, you have to be tough. And I joke around about having an ego. I really don't. You know, anyone who knows me knows that. I'm the nicest person. But
and you'll do whatever we ask you to do.
Absolutely. Well, that was the first thing I told you when I first read for you. I said, you're the director, you're the writer, whatever you need, I'll do it. And
you have taken that very literally. Or I have taken that literally. Anything. I feel like
as
you
per the show.
No, I just mean
Sam, I need you to clean my gutters.
I haven't even tried that yet. No, I just feel like you're one of those cast members, maybe more so than others, that will take that bold risk and really put yourself out there and go for something.
Yeah, you just got to do it. I'm a firm believer in don't hide your talents or your gifts. Just do it. Who cares? Just
And the
go
more
for
you
it.
put yourself out, the more big roles you can snag from other people.
Which is, I'm hoping. Like I've said this before, I should be more famous than I am. And you're gonna be my manager.
Ooh.
And Dallas said he's gonna be my
Dallas.
assistant. Dallas.
I love Dallas. Oh my God, Paget. Anyway, Dadget. Dallas is our resident Paget Brewster.
Yep, that's his favorite. He's in love with her. It's hilarious.
I am too. I'm not in a sexual way. Just I love her.
Yeah,
she
the way
is
she
so
works,
talented and
the way
so
she
funny.
works that character, and
in
general, she's
beyond belief, obviously.
yeah. But in general,
another
she's
period,
awesome.
Grandfathered. I did not watch her crime show. I'm sorry.
I haven't either.
But everything I've seen her in, she's fabulous.
Fabulous,
Love her.
darling. That's my goal, is to be fabulous in everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned you have a radio background. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
What is your backstory?
Well, my background is I was in the military. I was active duty in the United States Navy. Go Navy, beat Army. For 7 years. And I actually went in as a photographer. And then they merged all of the media career fields together into one. And I sort of found my way. I went back to school, found my way to TV and radio. So I've anchored news. I've written news. Being the anchor was a lot of fun. I prefer that much more than shooting news. I discovered I did not like journalism as much as I thought I would. And then I moved into radio, and I was like, I'm home.
Oh.
It was great.
Were these for military stations they played
Yes.
for the troops?
Yep. So the military stations, there was Naval Media Center. I was my first duty station. I was a photographer on a ship, the Emery S. Land, where I was. Like I said, I was a photographer, and that was stationed out of La Maddalena, Sardinia, Italy.
Okay.
And then I moved to Sudabe, Crete, Greece, where was my first real experience. That's where I anchored news, and that's where I did a lot of more of the newscasty stuff, and then moved into radio from there. And then I moved to American Forces Network in Seoul, Korea. South Korea, obviously.
Yes. Yes.
And that was I had just wonderful people there and great mentors. And my friend Rob, we call each other, we're our radio life partners. Mm-hmm. So we were always competing. One quarter he'd be top dog, and next quarter I'd be top dog, and we were always going back and forth. We'd listen to each other's shows, figure out ways to beat each other, and that's what it was friendly competition. But he's one of my best friends in the world, and I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Come guest star?
He lives in Maryland.
Now, can we talk about the time you killed Osama bin Laden? Or is that classified still?
That is classified.
Okay.
Super secret squirrel stuff.
So don't tell anybody you killed Osama bin Laden.
No, don't tell anyone that. Otherwise,
cool.
I'd have to kill them too, and that's just a big bloody mess. And that's why I'm not a cleaner. I'll just kill them and leave. And
Gotcha. And I understand this is classified as well, but are you here on secret assignment to kill a cast member for some terrorism crimes?
I cannot say.
Okay. Deep undercover for the last year.
Oh, right. So I have to pretend that I care about everyone here.
Gotcha.
That's really rough. So
The shit's gonna suck when you kill them and leave.
Yeah, deuces. I'm here to kill Shane. We're going to take out all your main characters.
You leave and then Shane's dead. That really screws us.
Yep, and then I go, then I take off on the ladder of a helicopter.
It's a top-notch Angler villain?
Yes.
We reveal top-notch Angler's actually a supervillain?
It's a super villain. And that's not my name.
Yes. Did you do... so you said you went into the Army photography. Did you have a background before the armed forces as in theater or arts at all? Or did your experience in the armed forces get you into that?
Well, I had a little bit of experience. I've never been in theater. I've tried out for theater, but it always clashed with my athletic stuff that I had going on. I was,
You're a jock.
Oh my gosh, yes, you have no idea. Softball, I was a cheerleader, I was a dancer. I did gymnastics, I did a little bit of everything. I was a figure skater, I was a diver, I was a swimmer. I was busy. Like, I remember 5:30 in the morning swim lessons and stuff like that and practices. And then I found martial arts, and I've been doing that since I was 8 years old, and I have been competitive since the age of 10. Wow. So I was a semi-pro competitive fighter, and So
if we need fight scenes in the show, you can look us up.
For real ones,
Yes.
not just mouth
Bam,
ones. Pow!
pow.
Skadoosh!
You can bring some authenticity to those fight
yes.
scenes. So we got you in the armed forces. You got
Yes.
through your radio. When did you get out of the armed forces?
I got out of the Navy in it was January 2nd, 2011. But my
dishonorable discharge.
no, very
I'm just
honorable.
kidding.
I was a model sailor. But my official departure date wasn't until March of 2000. Oh my gosh. 11. Yes,
Yeah.
2011. Dates and numbers are
5 years
hard.
ago.
Yeah, it was a rough transition. I mean, 7 years is a good long time. And the reason I got out was they wouldn't give me a 1 year duty station. They were trying to obli-serve me for another 2, which would take me to 9 years, which is too close to 10. 10 is halfway to retirement, and it was just time. I would not have been allowed to continue in radio. I would be moved to teaching positions. I'd be moved to admin positions because I was being pushed towards the first class position, going up to the next rank.
Gotcha.
So I was basically middle management. And so, which is a good spot. I could still be on the air. I could still do the job, but I would not be doing the job anymore. And that's what I wanted to be doing. That's what I love to do. And I couldn't see myself doing admin work for the next 10 years. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just me personally, it's not what I wanted to be doing.
Gotcha.
So I had to take the risk and take the plunge and get out and go.
Did you do or try to do anything with radio or theater after you got out until
Yes. I was working at a radio station in Montana. Turned out they had lied to me about the entire position.
Oh.
And everything that they did there, it was not good.
Would you like to mention the specific radio station?
No, I would not. I'm pretty sure that old program director would probably have me killed. He had zero clue how to run a live radio station. He told me that we'd be doing live all this stuff, and because I've experience in only live radio.
Sure.
And voice tracking. We've had to do it on special occasions. If we're gonna have a power outage or something, whatever. So, but it was. Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. He's like, we do a lot of sports stuff, but don't worry, you won't be doing any of that. And that's all I did. I was like, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh.
Aww.
So I was completely lied to about the position. He didn't want to hire a female anyways. The owner made him do it because they didn't have any females. He only hired people from Michigan. There was only me and one other person who were not from Michigan, and we were like best buddies. We're like, okay, come here. And then that's how I actually got into Not Another Podcast, because that was my buddy James Robinson, and that's how we got started with that. That's how I got into podcasting.
Tell us about Not Another Podcast.
Not Another Podcast is funny. I haven't been on it in a while because we've had some technical difficulties and my schedule is crazy. But we're trying to sync up so I have a live feed instead of the delay, because I can't really joke and quit.
With the Skype, there's always,
the witty is lost when there's a delay. So It's kind of like, man. But it's pop culture show. We talk about all sorts of stuff, movies, music, and then we do monthly first viewing movie commentaries. So none of us has seen the movie, usually B horror movies and stuff like that, and we comment on them, make fun of them. The first one I ever did was a movie called Teeth. It's still on there if you go to notanotherpodcast.com.
Is that the one where they're in the vagina?
Yes.
Oh, I skimmed that once and I was like, no way. No way am I watching
Oh my
this.
God, you should. It was great.
Oh, it looked so gross.
It was gross.
So then, through your current job, you met a man named Nick Argenbright.
I did. We work for a major corporation, which is all I'm going to say.
Evil Corp?
Yes.
Mr. Robot?
That's who actually sends us to kill people. So I'm mercenary now.
Evil Corp, gotcha.
Yep, Evil Corp. Nick and I were in 2 different departments, and we got pulled for a special project, and he ended up being like our manager, our like mid-manager person. I don't know if that's the best way to say. He was our lead. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. He was our project lead. And we discovered, like, we sat like this close. Like, a person away from each other.
You mean like 2 or 3 feet?
A person in front, a person between us, and that was about, basically it. And he was like, "You do voices? Oh, I do voices. We do voices. Let's do voices together." And then you guys had your Christmas show for GBG podcast. I don't know if you want me to say that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
No, Nick and I started The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky together 9 years ago. And then I was gone for a while, but when we were doing it, we always, and we still do, a scripted Christmas show, which normally it's a talk show. That's what it was. But yeah, now there's some other stuff. But yeah, Christmas was always scripted. That was a variety show, and we always would come. I mean, Wendy guest starred once, I think, and we get Nick, Nathan, and I, Nick and Nathan in the cast, would do it together. And then one year, I kept saying, we need to bring in a girl, And Nick's like, I've got a girl. I work with her. She's great. Let's bring her in. And I was like, oh, okay. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I can imagine you being like,
No.
I'm just kidding.
But then you showed up and you, matched us beat for beat and busted Nathan's balls and just did an excellent job with that Christmas show. And then...
that's how I met you guys.
Right. And so we met you, twice for that? Maybe?
No, it was one read-through.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we did. It was at Nick's place.
One read-through, and then the show
There was one read-through, and then the show. And I was like, all right. So, because I'm not afraid to just jump in and do whatever.
And then
bust some balls.
I think we did a game night at Nick's house that we were both invited to. And that was only the third time I'd seen you.
Yeah.
And I, at that point, was developing this show, and I was already talking to Nick about the show. And Nick was the only one I was talking to about. He was the only one thinking about it. And I saw you that night, and I was like, oh, I remember you from the Christmas show.
Yay.
You need to be in this because you're talented. And I told you about it that night, even though I didn't have anything for you to read.
And it was a long time from the Christmas show until then. Probably a good 8 months.
Yeah, it was
a long time.
Summer or early fall. We had a game night. I don't know.
It maybe 6 months. We'll just call it.
It was at least 6 months, if not long. I think 8's probably closer. And at that point, I was only tossing ideas. I hadn't even written a word. And I said, I think I'm going to do a sketch called Porn Star Detectives. And I thought of it, I think, that day. And I told you, and you immediately were like, I get to be a porn star.
Look, it's Elsa. Hi, Elsa. Hello, darling. Did you order a fist in the butt?
I was like, that's for me.
Yeah, you called it, which meant nothing, obviously.
Right, yeah.
If you've heard past podcasts, I even made Nick wait till the deadline.
Right. He was freaking out. I'd see him at work, and he's like, I want this banana.
He really wanted, okay, man.
And he couldn't really say anything about it.
Yeah.
I only knew about Porn Star Detectives. And then I came in and read for you.
Well, then I had the audition packet out.
Yeah.
And
and then he could tell me.
And we were actually, I think the night you came over, we were working on Top Notch Tangler.
Of course. I always have time for you, darling.
Sir, may I offer you a refill on your water?
She's not coming back, is she?
Which was for show 2. It wasn't in show 1.
Yeah.
And we hadn't cast show 1 yet. So I hadn't even released the parts for Top Notch for audition. But you came over, and Nick's like, hey, we're working on this other script. Make her read some of those pages. We're not out yet. And I was like, well, I can't give you the part, but you can read for it. And I'll just keep it till the audition.
I think I auditioned for 8 things.
At least.
Do you want me to read another one?
Well, you guys just kept giving me characters. Do this. And I was like, cool.
Well, we got an idea of your range. I still have that recording of all of those. And this is the part I'll put a few of those in.
Da-da-da-da.
I think who would be more comfortable going along?
Well, too bad.
Weren't those wonderful?
And now we're back.
Now Nick had convinced me to back the porn stars off, and obviously we've got up to that line a few times, but do you wish we'd gone whole hog, completely filthy porn stars?
Sometimes, yes, but I think overall, as a show, I think it's better to push that line and keep it as PG-13 as possible, because to me that's funnier when you're not so sure, is this supposed to be funny? It's that odd. I think it's funnier to keep it pulled back rather than just being obscene. So,
and we've got an outlet for that with our Dirty Story Night.
Oh my gosh. It's one of my favorite things ever now.
We've done it 3 times, and now I'm like, we got to do it pretty much every month.
Yeah.
It's
on our drop down now.
It is, so you can get it through our website.
Shameless plugging.
Yeah, we haven't had many downloads on that, but we have done nothing to promote it. It's just been, this is the show we put the effort into. Right. That's just I'm going to toss it up if you want to see. Right. If you want to hear Sam be really filthy, pop on over to Dirty Story Night.
Word.
And, another character that you have, that you played was in Scary Dad when you and Seamus were Arnold and Casey.
I ain't his girlfriend.
Shut up, woman!
We broke up.
We did not. I chose not to recognize the breakup.
It doesn't matter if you recognize it or not. I done broke up with you.
I don't care. I don't break up with you.
I love Arnold and Casey, and we do it all the time.
And it was once many months ago.
Yeah, and it made a big impact on us at least, and then everyone else will do it. And I done broke up with you, and I'll hear other people do it, and I'm like, ha!
We had a rehearsal tonight, a read-through that we did just before this, and Keith improv'd it into a scene.
I love Casey and Arnold. They're just
And we're bringing
silly
them
little
back.
characters. I know.
Bringing them back.
Seamus and I are
We can't
so
talk about it, but
excited.
if you are inclined to come to our live show, it's next week's live show.
Yay!
July 16th. Our big anniversary show, which you should absolutely come to.
Yes.
Because we're going to do 4 sketches. We have a live band. It's going to be a huge show. So long, Stargazer. But that will feature the return of Arnold and Casey. Yes. And if you wonder who they are, jump back to podcast episode 19 that went live on May 8th, and you can hear Scary Dead, The Road to Cincinnati. That was their first appearance.
Yay!
It's really great to have the schedule on the screen in front of me.
It's super helpful.
I am not a geek enough to memorize all of my podcast episode numbers and everything.
Well, there's so much.
Have you been in all 5 sketches?
Yes.
You have. You are one of the few people that have, I think. So I can't ask you, is there a sketch you haven't been in that you want to be in? But is there a part you'd like to play in one of these that you have not gotten to play yet?
I've thought about this because I listen to all the shows.
Of course, and I ask the same questions.
Right, and so I've thought about this, but it's so hard to pinpoint one character.
You can give me several.
I kind of want to.
This is my shameless way of getting story ideas and stealing them from you guys.
One of the things I was thinking is switching the male and female roles. Mm-hmm. You know, like something happens in the universe, and whoosh, probably like Daniel Kravitz or something, like the witch, whoosh, or a witch is like, wow, you all change it, and I want to be Daniel Kravitz. Such a curmudgeon, and I think it's so funny. And I like the warrior. Mm-hmm. You know, my puppy's name is She-Ra, so I mean, warrior princess all the way.
We try to be pro-feminism in the show. Doesn't always happen. I've been called out a couple of times.
Sinister sexist.
Yeah, but he gets defeated. That's why that's okay.
That's funny.
Because you're not supposed to like him. Any other characters that you'd like to play? Like, it could be an existing character or a character you can think of off the top of your head that you'd like to see added somewhere?
I loved being Clint. I want Clint to come back.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like not being a main character in the other 3 because that allows me to do different things and just do a range. So I can't say that there's one thing. I want to do. I do a wicked witch's cackle, and I always thought it'd be fun to be a witch. But I haven't spoken like a witch in a long time, so I would need to practice that. But
is there, besides Daniel, a character you want to kill the cast member and take over playing?
Murder. Awesome. I might be giving away my mission here, but I love how the narrator plays with everyone, and I think it'd be kind of fun to be the narrator for the day and just make fun of everyone, sort of like the old guys in the Muppets.
Yeah,
that's how I see the narrator. I love watching people come out of their shells.
Yes,
and the 2 people that Chris is a little slower to come out of his shell, but when he does it. It's so funny. It kind of reminds me of like Silent Bob. He doesn't say anything, but when he says something, it's so on that you're just like, whoa! And then watching Keith come out of his shell has been hilarious because you just wouldn't, he's got this deep, serious voice. And then he says something, you're like,
and
that came out of your mouth. He is. It's so funny.
He doesn't,
Him and his wife are just so cool. And I'm like, that's so great. Yeah. The live show, I think, is so special. It's awesome when that people download and they want to listen to it, and I love it, and I just hope that they enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But the live shows are just, you get the little things that you don't get in the podcast. Like, me and one, like, when you play with each other, and when there is a mess up or a flubbed line, and or we have the wrong audio.
Sure. Stuff I edit out of the podcast.
Right. But we all stay in character and we make a joke about it and we move on, and then the audience gets that glimpse of it's okay that we're messing up because it's all part of the show.
I think any live show, you're going to have stuff like that. The podcast is plenty good enough to get the story.
Absolutely.
But if you want to get... the live show's a different experience. You get another element to it.
All it is it's just different. And
Please come to Columbus, Ohio and see our live show. Or if you're in Columbus, Ohio, just come downtown.
Yes. It's good times. But I love playing live, and I like listening to our podcast afterwards, because I can giggle to myself and go, I remember what happened there. but it's both are wonderful and both are very special, but I think just the live brings it just a little extra element.
I'm really glad we're doing both. I mean, it was always the plan to do both, but I'm really glad we're doing both because they complement each other and they're their own thing.
It's super exciting. And I moved back to Ohio in the process of moving, already trying to find a way to leave.
Oh.
And it's nothing against Ohio. I love Ohio. I grew up here. I lived here for 19 years, but I'd been gone for 10 years. I don't feel the need to be back here. And, you know, my mom was always a very much spread your wings type of person. Go do your thing. I don't care where you go. Just keep in contact. Love you. Bye. And, you know, my mom's just a wonderful person. We keep in touch really well and all that. But, you know, I didn't want to come back to Ohio, and I was already trying to find a way to leave. And then I meet Nick, and then I meet you guys, and then the show. And then it's something I was looking for because I've been trying to act anyways, you know, get into that. And I was doing some work in Chicago when I lived in near there in Illinois. But I just wasn't getting a whole lot. And then I shot, what's it called? I shot a preview for a movie in up in Michigan, December 2014. So I had to travel to go do that, and it was fun. It just solidified that this is what I want to be doing.
Sure.
And
now you can't leave Ohio.
well, I told you if I leave Ohio, I will come back.
Yes.
When I'm rich and famous, I'll have the money to do it.
Hopefully when you're rich and famous, you'll get a little more attention to our little show here.
I think
go see Sam on the big screen this summer, and then make a trip to Ohio to see her live.
Hey, I would totally come back and keep doing the show.
I appreciate that.
I would.
This
I
is
absolutely
such
would.
A special show.
It really is, and everyone. I don't know what stars aligned and what lightning bolt struck
Pure luck.
all of us.
Pure luck.
But we all got together, and it was just like bam, 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 and just. And like I said, some people are a little slower coming out of their shells, and that's perfect fine. It's just, you know, how you grew up, different personalities, but everyone's just so good at what they're doing. And it just makes you want to push even farther. Like, I knew I was good at certain voices, and doing certain things, and being live and getting to sort of spread my wings and stretch more and have people challenge me more it's awesome.
Well, and I think we foster an environment where everybody's encouraged to not only take ownership of their characters and their part, but really contribute in any way they can to the show. They don't just show up and read their lines.
Right. They improv, they send you
the best
show
laughs
ideas.
In any live show are almost always improv lines.
Yeah.
They really are.
I don't think this is right.
And I as the writer, I have no ego about that. As long as the show's good, I'm happy. So
right.
I'm just like, wow, you guys take what's on the page and make it better.
And that's what's awesome is that you give us the freedom to experiment. If something doesn't work, then you'll say, that's not really working, and then no skin off anyone's hide. All right, cool, we tried.
Sure.
All you can do is try, and if it works, it works. If not, we'll try something else.
As we wind down, I have your question from Keith. And unfortunately, normally we're doing 9 of these a year, and most of them are spaced close enough that we've pre-recorded, but we had a really busy May. We did 3 shows.
Oh my gosh,
so
May was
instead
super
of pre-recording you before Keith came out, you got to hear Keith's question to you. Can you untangle this?
Well, I asked him.
It doesn't actually look that bad, does it?
It's not that bad.
It's just a little knot.
It's a teeny knot. It's okay. You just work it out.
He's been trying it for a long time.
You work it out with your fingers really well in a little circle, and
he wants you to do it.
I will be glad to. I actually asked him, hey, is that still tangled? He said no.
What?
I was like, dang it, you're supposed to tangle it for keep it tangled for me.
Yeah, you're the top-notch tangler. You should be able to untangle.
Untangle.
It's the same thing, really, when you think about it.
We didn't talk about top-notch at all.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
I love being top-notch tangler.
What do you love about being top-notch tangler?
She's so prim and proper.
As Kimberly.
Yeah, and then she's a superhero, and I love superheroes as it is. I run our Instagram, and the couple...
Man. We should talk about that, too. You
absolutely.
took over Instagram. You've done a fantastic job.
There's this one feed we follow, and it's a superhero feed, and they did this, like, chibi mix of all the female superheroes, and I commented, I was like, you should listen to this, because the top-notch tangler should be part of this group, too. I didn't hear anything back, of course, but I was like, so I try to anyone who follows us, I look through their feed because I want to be respectful of the person.
Sure.
They're taking the time to follow us and care about us. And, I like some of their photos. And anyone who comments, I try my best to comment back. It's not like we're getting flooded, but I do work 2 jobs.
Sure.
Sometimes it's kind of hard.
I do try to help you out. I do jump on our feed probably daily and pick a few people that have liked us and then like one of their pictures just to kind of help it along.
And that way keeps us I want to. The more interactive you can be, the better it is.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to mess with what you're doing, but I feel like if we have a few people doing that would probably be good.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
yeah.
And just to look through other feeds and comment on other things, just to get our name out there. And the one group that the Modern Geek Show that plays for WizardCon. Yeah. That's their podcast. They I've talked to them before and I was like, you guys are so cool. And they're like, oh, you're so cool. We love your feed. And So I reached out to the guys there. I was like, hey, I run because we had interacted with each other on Instagram several times. And I was like, just wanted to say hi. This is who I am. I'm running this. And he was like, cool. And they're cool dudes. We have a lot of other podcasts following us, which I think is great.
Well, I did think it was important. Obviously, we have fewer women in the cast than men. That's not by design. That's by who we have auditioned. Yeah. I would love to bring in more women and women minorities. We have male minorities. We don't have any women minorities in our show. But I would love to have a diverse cast because I feel the more diverse cast we have, the better we're on. But the Top Notch Tangler was partially in response to porn stars. That if we're going to do a sketch with 2 girls that are super ditzy, we should have a sketch that has a very strong, independent female heroine. And Amber and Stacey are strong and independent in their own right. They're not ridiculous pushovers. Right. But I felt it was very important to have a balance. And I also thought, well, I knew we needed a superhero sketch, but so many of our sketches are male-led that, Universe Journey is an ensemble, but it's male. And Daniel Kravitz is an ensemble, but there's a guy at the center. Yep. Scary Dead, it's a guy and a girl balance, really. It's Coco and Courtney. But, so really, if you look at the 5 sketches, we're kind of balanced. But yeah, I thought it was really important to have a sketch like Top Notch that highlighted a female. And most shows that would do this and have a superhero, I feel like you expect a male. And it's super important to me that we help promote that gender equality.
And Top Notch Taylor, she's smart, she's funny, she's sexy, sassy, and I love that we find that she has other superpowers, like the person who plays her. Yes, super talented, awesome, and great and wonderful in every way.
The most modest in this entire cast.
The most modestest.
Her humbleness puts everybody else's humbleness to shame.
Yes, she will win that humbleness. She wins at humbling. And modesting. But Top Notch Tangler is so much fun, and I like the different. In the Top Notch Tangler, I get a little taste of my own medicine because I like to be the guest in a sketch and steal the show with a one-liner and make the main star laugh. Sure. And now other people get to do that to me. Sure. And I'm like, dang it! So I try to hold it together. Awkward comedy is my favorite kind of comedy. So the more awkward I can make it, the better. And that's how I get people to crack up too. And people get me to crack up all the time. I'm easy to make laugh. But everyone's so dang funny. It's hard not to. But
we try to mix all the types of comedy. So we do awkward, we do puns, we do smart, high-minded stuff. We do lowbrow, slapstick, and we mix it all together.
And that's what we're saying. There's something for everybody.
I think so.
And if you don't like one sketch, that's fine. Try a different one because you're going to find one that you like no matter who you are. If you like awkward comedy like I do, oh my gosh, anytime I can make something awkward, I will take that opportunity because it's my favorite thing to do. But the one joke that I really, really, really loved that did not get as much of a reaction as I wanted it to was the count.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was just the funniest thing ever. And one person was like, and I'm like, oh.
Oh. No, it
worked for me. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, it did work. So before we wrap up, you answered Keith's question with a yes, but you need to give a question to our next guest, Shane Stefanchik. Shane Stefanchik, who will be in late August. So we will have. What would you like to ask Shane?
God, what can I ask?
You didn't think about this ahead?
Are you a vampire because your front teeth are sharp?
He doesn't. I noticed that early about him. That was a wonderful episode. She's over there cracking. Anything else you'd like to share with the listeners?
The show is so great and it's really special, and just keep downloading. And if you're in the area and you have any idea that this is something you want to do, come give us a try. I mean, we're open, we're welcoming. We've had guests before. The guest we had last month, she was so funny. And
we'd love to have a new guest every month.
Right. Just keep auditioning, keep doing what you're doing, and don't I think a lot of my comedy and a lot of my confidence comes from the fact that I was told at such a young age that you can't. No, you're a girl. You can't do these things.
Which is what I say every practice too.
Yep, absolutely. That's how you get me going.
Yeah. Sam, the top-notch Tangler, cannot win this episode because she's a girl.
Oh yeah.
And then she just writes the ending.
So don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't. Just let that fuel you.
You can't.
Just let it fuel you, because you absolutely can do whatever you want to do. And just yeah. I grew up with someone in my life that it was always a negative. So, I take that and turn it into comedy. And my mom's always like, you should be a stand-up comedian. And I'm like, oh, God, Mom.
You could do warm-up acts for the crowd.
Oh, God.
If you ever want to try it out.
Maybe. I'll workshops. I'll workshop some stuff. But just give us a try. Yeah. Whether it's listening or auditioning. We're a fun group. We're a welcoming group. Come do it.
Please.
Love you.
Have a good night. We record until we run out of things to talk about, and if you're boring or whatever, I'll just cut it out.
Yeah.
Or if I go off on tangents, which I do, and talk about the show,
and I'll just shut you up.
They don't want to hear about me because exactly. So I just cut that out later. So, real quick, let me tell you where we are in terms of podcasts. And
okay.
We'll leave this
I don't
open.
want to spoiler anything.
I'll leave this open
I don't want to
while we're
spoiler
talking.
anything.
Spoiler.
The alcohol's already getting to me.
Exactly. That's the goal.
Jim is trying to get me drunk.